Shmoni! Zeszykować Shmoni! Jelis!
What? What? I just got acclimated.
예?
역시 에어구디.
라니아케야?
라니아케야.
이거 화공 좀 켜주세요. 화공.
라니아케 이온.
예?
오마이갓 잠깐만 에어구디 진짜
진짜 뭐야?
할 말이야? 뭐가?
야 개봐
아니 진짜 스펙이라고?
진짜 스피.
Look what happened.
That's iodized. What? That's...
What the fuck? What? There's no way! Surfing! What? Spectral Legacy Poison.
Derp CIP, I gotta chill. I got Spectral Neptunium! Stop! I want Spectral Titanium! I want Spectral Titanium! What? I want Spectral Titanium!
Oh god.
No, I'm not lying! I want Spectral.
The fuck is that? What is that? Oh.
Yes, Flash Ghost. What is that? No! Fuck it! Yikes! No one helps me with.
Getting kicked into a well is the least of your worry.
All I wanted to do was push Talon out a little bit. Can she die already, please? Thank you. I can buy a lot of time. There's no way, dude. Like, what is... How? What? How?
Talon has 7 kills. Cool. Cool. Cool.
I'm dead as well. Why do I not just R? I'm too greedy. I didn't want to waste my R. I need to mute this guy. I didn't want to R. And then I R. And then like he dodged it as well. Like I don't know how he dodged it.
serious, my friend. My friend, you good? Oh no. Cringe, fuck. Just wait for my ice burn, bro. I will shit on you when I get ice burn. We got the iceborne, guys. GG. I'm dead. Really? He's gonna survive. Please kill Talon. Please. Please. Please, man. This is not real. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh, he's need for speed. I can't. Nice, bro. Very playable. What a joke. A joke game.
And then like the return W does more damage. So I always get like 2 at least. That's crazy.
That's peace. I love that stuff. Do it. Hit me. What am I doing?
I hate towns so much actually. I hate towns so much. If I'd R in 1 second, but talent jumping just zooms across the map because talent's bounced actually. It's so broken.
He knows. Wait, why would he walk into me if he knows I'm there? That's kind of weird. Holy shit, because he can just survive with 50 health. You gotta be kidding me. How lucky is this guy?
Alexis.
the move. Enemy team is cancer, man. Can I even hold midwave? I think that guy one-shots me.
Це можна віддавати їм.
Week 3 of 3 more mods you should download for Risk of Rain 2. First up is the Enforcer by Enforcer Gang. Enforcer is by far the most downloaded mod for Risk of Rain 2, and it's pretty easy to see why. Enforcer is a bruiser that can deal massive damage as well as tank it for himself. Once he puts his shield up, there is nothing getting through him. And between you and me, I check out the void fields with him. Just trust me. Next up is Pathfinder by Bog. In this mod, you control a spear-wielding survivor, but also a robotic death bird named Squall with machine guns strapped to his feet. You charge up his battery by dealing damage and then let him violate the Geneva Convention through commands you give to him. I should also mention that the bird gains all of your items, and I mean all of them. Finally, we have Soldier from Rocket, also by Enforcer Gang, who is an absolute blast to play. Rocket flies across the map due to his passive, which might take a second to get the hang of, but is incredibly satisfying once you got it down. Play this character if you want to blow up bosses and your graphics card. I'm live with a new mod every day.
Hey there, Schlick.
Hey, man.
Hopping on here real quick just to show you the setup.
Okay.
Here is the desk with a bunch of cool shit on it.
All right.
I need to replace the battery in that.
Should
so I don't
fix
die.
that. Yeah, at least
down
it's not
there's about
beeping.
7 pounds worth of thermite.
Okay.
That's a cat right there.
Time out. You want to
And,
talk about
battle
the
station.
thermite again?
Built that thing back in 2016.
Sure.
And could really
Sure.
use an upgrade, and I'm willing to work for it.
Oh, whoa! I'm not blushing. Stop saying I'm blushing. I'm not. I'm just naturally a little red.
Okay, room tour. So we got the internet. We got the God, fucking place. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You have the internet. That's how I
All
keep
right.
you in here. That's why I keep you.
I know what you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot all of that. I'll just ignore that.
Yeah, put the gun away maybe next.
Cracked.
Bro, that chair is done. Holy shit, it's rancid. Don't say sniff. Do not fucking self-reported. Holy shit.
Watching some good material, reading.
That's another gun on the desk.
We got a 3D printer that I don't use to print ghost firearm parts, because that would be a crime.
Yes, it would be.
Which I don't do. I'd keep it classy.
That's a fucking assault rifle.
Black sheets on the
That
bed.
is a rifle.
Nice.
The rifle. Address the rifle on the bed.
There's a closet over here, a couple more posters, and that's pretty much my room tour.
Hello, Jay Schlatt.
Hey.
I am a 19-year-old cute Canadian boy looking for a rugged sugar daddy with mutton chops. If you want a piece of this ass, you can hit me up. Here's my futon. It's currently in couch mode, but I could pull it out into a bed if you want to snuggle. Lastly, here's my costume
Not
drawer.
interested,
I could
really.
dress up however you want, and I could do push-ups for you. Thanks for your time.
I don't want you to do push-ups for me. Is that what you think?
Hey Jason, today we're starting off at the heart of my room, which is my
I am confident I can keep everybody alive.
Stingrays. Oh.
Have no fear, the engineer is here. Look at the healing! It hits the ceiling!
Yeah, I know.
We now have 72 mushrooms. We're approaching that 100 mark. More mushrooms! More mushrooms! More mushrooms! Okay, we have 92 mushrooms. Gentlemen, I think I have a problem.
What's that?
I have 105 mushrooms and I'm not slowing down.
Whoa! 48 of them. I've only got 14 and I'm the bird man.
This is Pet Simulator. And it sucks. I know, it's a controversial opinion, but it's not for the reason you think it is. It's not the gambling, not the bots, not the overpriced plushies, not the updates, but the economy. I don't know how a game economy can be as bad as Pet Simulators. Getting basic pets for your team costs trillions. Trillions! With a T! It got so bad that they had to make a whole new game to try again. And still failed. The developers tried to take initiative on the constant inflation and just crashed the economy instead. Taxes? I didn't know the feds worked for big games. Millions of dollars worth of pets? Gone. Just like that. So I looked at the current situation of the economy and decided to ruin it even more. Well, what if we made the most useless items that have no purpose whatsoever worth millions, billions, trillions? You know what? Screw it. Quadrillions! There's this mechanic in the game called wrap. This basically tells you the
But we're not going to be using that because that looks kinky.
Clickbait!
Instead, middle school me is going to be wearing a bandana to represent limited speech. Now imagine seeing this out of context. You'd think I was either 1. Wearing a diaper on my face, 2. Trying to rob a bank, or 3. Join your friendly neighborhood gang. Trip, trip, trip. Anyways, towards the end of high school, you know how most college application essays require you to answer the question, what was the most significant change in your life? Or, what was your biggest obstacle and how did you overcome it? And here's the answer in short. Puberty. Well, if you want to be a smartass and get rejected from all the colleges you applied.
Say hi, communicate. All right, we're good.
Keanu Reeves could be just like other celebrities, but he takes the subway. He's sitting down enjoying the ride when he notices the woman standing next to him. Without waiting for anyone else to act, he shows just how much of a gentleman he is.
Enjoy your pie. Enjoy.
Did you know that half of the top 50 games on Steam are indie titles? Or that there are only 4 fighting games with a romantic theme? Here's a fun one. Did you know that the word life appears in more game titles than death? Yet, war is mentioned twice as often as love? Today, we're diving into the data and exploring some fun insights into the game development industry. Let's start with the basics. In 2024, an average of over 70 games were released on Steam each day. A huge volume and one that's grown tremendously over the years. Around 28% of games released last year hold a positive rating today, and of those, only 2% have managed to surpass the 10,000 reviews, showing both popularity and a strong reception. For context, the fighting roguelike Scythe sits around this level. While there are some great tools available for analyzing metrics like these, they don't offer the specific data I needed for my analysis. So I had to collect it myself, directly from the source, Steam itself. And that brings us to the methodology. I'll explain it so you can see exactly how I arrived at the conclusions in this video. I started by using Steam's API to pull the full catalog of over 200,000 apps. I pulled this data mid-October 2024, so all insights are based on that timeframe. Once I had the full catalog, I wrote a script to pull data for each game, including details like its name, price, release date, and the rating and number of reviews. I used 2 endpoints from Steam, one for basic game details and another for the user reviews. I also used Steam Spy, a third-party tool with an API that estimates key metrics, like player counts for each game. To complete the picture, I used web scraping to collect game tags. This means I ran a program that navigated the entire Steam store, copying the tags for each game and saving them to a file. I found these tags especially valuable because they reflect both the developer's input and the community's influence on how the game is categorized. These scripts ran for about 150 hours, that's over 6 days, gathering all the data needed for the analysis. The data from these APIs was messy and inconsistent, so I went through a systematic cleanup process. After sorting everything out, I ended up with more than 200,000 apps, roughly 140,000 of which were games or demos, each with a variety of attributes. This added up to millions of data points, so I organized everything into a database to make exploring and analyzing it much more efficient. And with that, let's dive into some interesting insights, starting with something light and fun. Here are the most common words in game titles on Steam. It's interesting to see how often certain genre names appear: adventure, simulator, shooter, and many others. There's also a lot of emphasis on fantasy themes, with words like dragon and monster popping up frequently. And certain words align with available Steam tags, like zombies and even cats. Both cat and cats made the top list, which I thought was pretty funny. Then there are some unexpected ones, like paper or cube. Not sure what's going on there. If you're aiming for a unique or memorable title for your game, maybe steer clear of the words on this list. Or maybe these words are here because they are good descriptors that resonate with players. Familiarity could be appealing too. I'll let you decide what you think about that. Next, let's dive into the data on the highest rated and lowest rated games on Steam. For the top games, I focus on titles with an overwhelmingly positive rating, sorted by the number of reviews. This ranking highlights the most popular games that maintain an excellent reputation. It's worth noting that around half of the games in the top 50 are considered indie, including hits like Terraria, Stardew Valley, Hollow Knight, Hades, Undertale, Vampire Survivors, Factorio, and Slay the Spire, to name a few. It's inspiring to see how these small teams or solo developers have created games that resonate with so many players. It's also interesting that some franchises appear more than once. For instance, both Portal and Portal 2 make the cut, as well as 2 titles from the Resident Evil series. Valve itself has an impressive presence, with 6 games in the top 50. The only other developers with multiple entries are SCS Software, Larian Studios, and Capcom, with 2 titles each. At the other end of the spectrum, we have the lowest rated games. Remarkably, only 12 games on Steam have an overwhelmingly negative score. Even the least reviewed of these has more than 500 reviews, meaning all of them have a substantial base of feedback. I reviewed each title to understand why they performed so poorly. The game with the lowest score, War of the Three Kingdoms, is a 2021 release with nearly 60,000 reviews, filled with complaints about everything from lack of localization to gameplay issues, lag, aggressive monetization, and accusations against the company's integrity. In several of these low-ranked games, players felt misled or scammed by paying for what they perceived as unfinished or poorly executed projects. Many of these games also face severe technical problems, with frequent mentions of bugs and crashes. Interestingly, some of these titles were spin-offs of otherwise well-regarded series, like Command & Conquer, Airline Tycoon, and Flatouts. Then there's Uriel's Chasm, which earned kind of a cool status for its bizarre, chaotic gameplay that most players found impossible to enjoy. There's much to learn from both top-rated and low-rated games alike. With that, let's move into discussing untapped opportunities and unique ideas for games. I was curious whether there are combinations of genres or other properties that are still underexplored. For instance, are there any rhythm-based shooters out there? What about games that combine sports with a sci-fi setting? To explore this, I turned to data from Steam tags. Steam offers a total of 447 predefined tags, which are added by both developers and players. I organized these tags further, subdividing them into categories based on my own interpretation to better analyze potential patterns. I first focus on combinations of two genres, to identify original or underexplored ideas. To keep the results meaningful, I only included games with more than 10 reviews and focused on the most popular genres, excluding the extremely niche ones that would add unnecessary noise. Each point on the graph represents a pair of genres. On the horizontal axis, I plotted the number of games in at least one of the two genres. This gives an idea of the individual popularity of the genres. If one of them is strong, the number goes up, and if both are popular, the plot point will end up on the far right. On the vertical axis, we see how many games are tagged with both genres simultaneously, which shows the opportunities. The lower the point, the more novel the combination, as fewer games share both genres. In summary, the most interesting opportunities are the ones that are farther down to the right, where both genres are popular but the combination is rare. For example, there are only 3 platformer auto-batters, and none seem particularly well known. There are 14 card game shooters, with Friends vs. Friends being the most famous, which I hadn't heard of before, but it looks pretty fun. Then there are just 3 rhythm-based tower defense games. I could probably spend hours analyzing this graph. Instead, I link an interactive version in the video description so you can explore other combinations on your own and move on to talk about themes. The most common themes in games are fairly predictable, with a strong focus on fantasy and sci-fi settings. This is reflected in the frequent use of words like magic, monsters, space, or worlds in the titles of many games. Focusing on the 20 most popular themes, I explored combinations of these with different genres. With the top genres, it seems nearly all themes are well explored. Keep in mind though that not all themes have tags on Steam, so there's a selection bias at play. A few combinations stand out. There are only 4 romance fighting titles, with Troublemaker being the most well known. While this pairing might not attract the typical audience, there's definitely a niche for players who enjoy both. Another interesting combination is cooking games in a sci-fi setting, with around 10 games. In fact, on closer inspection, not all of these are truly cooking games. Some include cooking only as a feature. But the idea of, say, running a hot dog stand on an alien planet has a playful charm. So these combinations can definitely spark new ideas. Finally, I also reviewed genre combinations with tags related to dimensions, like 2D and 3D, and perspectives, like first person and third person. But it's probably best if you explore the data yourself. I'll link to all of these charts. One trend worth noting though is the steady rise in 3D releases. New 3D titles are now being launched almost as frequently as 2D ones. Let's take a brief pause from discussing video game genres to explore female and LGBTQ+ representation within the data. Around 10% of games on Steam are tagged with female protagonist, a number that seems surprisingly low. I had expected this percentage to show a steady growth over the years, but interestingly the trend isn't so clear. In contrast, LGBTQ+ representation shows a much clearer upward trend, with tagged games tripling in proportion over the past decade. The oldest title with this tag is Secret of the Magic Crystals from 2010, a game about breeding horses, I think.
Okay, we'll open to the game. Wait for it. There you go. Look at this. Look at this shit.
Waiting. What's going to
Okay.
happen?
I'm not touching shit, okay? Neuro is moving using her neural network. Alright, and then we don't have the thing that like auto activates tasks anymore. But then it will. Okay? It'll do the task. Okay? And back she goes. She's a little slow.
Oh
but
my
you know.
gosh. What a time to be alive. Thank you so much.
Okay,
for
I need to turn on the thing that like auto
Truly
activates tasks again.
amazing.
You were her, chat. Except when she gets stuck. Now let me find whoever removed the part of the code that allows tasks to be like started automatically. Holy fuck, don't uncomment this. This is broken AF. Invoke tool don't use directly, please. Okay, what if I uncommented this to do what
What
the
would you do
fuck
in
is
my
this? Whoever commented this out, I don't think was a fan of the code. Now, unfortunately,
I see. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either.
I'm not a fan
The
of
code,
them.
I mean, not
So
the comment link.
just gonna uncomment that one real fast. Let me run this code again. As soon as I press practice and scale, I'm not gonna touch my keyboard until she gets stuck. This is peak gameplay.
Wink. I probably wouldn't even be
Obviously,
able to
she
beat
is
you,
immediately stuck,
but I
but
could try
you know.
if you want. Go
New
ahead.
vector 2 dot normalize. This should make her faster, I believe. This will break fixed wiring. It's fine. We can fix it later. So
Wink.
now you can see she's actually moving like a real person.
Oh, that's fine.
Look at this.
I fixed it on my own anyway.
This is gameplay.
Wink, did you find
And
something?
I ain't doing shit, okay? This shit runs in the background. Oh, except who? What? Okay, Alex. This is just why that guy didn't want thing uncommented, because it breaks some code. Alright, listen, chat, we are here today, gathered to create a lava lamp. Shadergraph is a core feature of Unity. I like Shadergraph. Alright? What does this do?
I'm not sure.
See? You know? You see what I'm saying?
I see. I see.
So Phoenix Chan and I have been basically working on this video for the last 3 hours. Wait, why is the sun purple? What have I done? Alright, so you guys might have already heard that there is something going on in the end that hasn't really been widely advertised. Right, so this is the end dimension, and it looks really bland. Nothing really is going on here. However, the moment Vibrant Visuals is turned on, something very interesting happens to the end. You can probably see it over there. Something very curious happens in the end dimension, like right there. Every now and then, a purple light flashes in the sky, seemingly varying in position in the sky, duration, and intensity. It happens in about intervals of 5 to 10 seconds, so it should happen right there. So that was right in front of me, and it really does light up the entire place. Now, Phoenix Chan was working on this, and kind of honestly, she did everything. I did like nothing. It only works if you have vibrant visuals enabled. However, there are some settings that do not get it to work at all. You can see all of the settings are down right now. My thick skull of mine tried to get a resource pack to make it a little more enhanced, and I'll show you that later. But ultimately, all you really need to do to show this in your world is just set the brightness to about here, although you can play around with this. Turn everything down, and counterintuitively, what that does is it actually just makes everything a little more elongated. So it makes the flashes in the sky a lot longer. I guess it might be because there's less obfuscation happening in the sky, so the purple light is more visible in that case. There's more clarity around it.
Wow. That looks so good. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. All right. So now, first off, thank you, Roger, Bruno. That was great. Now I want to bring onto the stage two of my best friends from Gearbox. Please put your hands together for Randy Pitchford, founder of Gearbox Entertainment, and Andrew Reiner, our Global Chief Creative Officer. Hello, gents.
Hello.
Hi.
Randy, how's your PAX going?
Oh my God. You guys who's played Risk? Has anybody played Risk of Rain 2? Like, holy shit. The game, like for a humble, dude, this is like, they're $25, man. Just do it. It's freaking great. I'm addicted to this game, this humble little thing that and there's like 10 million people that have jumped on. If you haven't tried it yet, you owe it to yourself to check it out. It's freaking awesome. I freaking love it. And I'm here right now with you guys. We're here together.
Amazing.
And I get to talk about Borderlands 4.
Reiner, how's your PAX?
I'm having an absolute blast. I love this show. PAX is one of the best shows. I've been going to video game shows since 1995.
Holy shit.
And PAX is one of the best in embracing the community and bringing gamers together. It's so much fun to just sit and talk games with all of you and seeing all the cosplay. Look at this front row.
I'll let you guys get to it. Have a great conversation.
All right.
Holy shit. Yeah. Are we doing this?
We have most of the Vault Hunters here. This is great.
Yeah, holy shit. Look at that.
Bad guys
oh my
over
God,
here.
You guys look amazing.
This is trouble over here.
I want some photos with you guys later. Is that cool? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. Should we get
let's
to it?
do it. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So just a little table setting here. We recently released the PlayStation State of Play Showcase. Deep dive, 20 minutes, giving you a primer of what the game is. Today we're going to go a little deeper into the game and kind of show you some of the things you've been asking questions about. I actually have community questions that I got online that we'll be asking as we go about this. But it's not just going to be Randy and me talking today. We have developers from Gearbox here. The team's hard at work on the game right now, but they took some time to answer your questions and be here with you today. So please give a warm, loud welcome to April Johnson, our Associate Narrative Director. Nick Thurston, Lead Game Designer. And Grant Cow, Associate Creative Director.
You guys ready?
We're so super ready.
Are you guys ready? Dude, okay, before, we moved the date up. Did you guys see that?
Yes!
When does that ever happen? Everybody was like, oh yeah, GTA 6. Like, dude, we had no idea. We discovered it when you guys did. We've got this, you guys. This game is in great shape. We're cooking. We are cooking. We are cooking. We are cooking.
Yeah, baby.
All right, sorry, Reiner, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question first,
yeah,
Randy. So, yeah, stay on the edge of your seat here. This is an intense question. No, you've been involved with every Gearbox release so far.
Yeah.
That's every Borderlands game, of course. Brothers in Arms.
Yeah.
You even worked on Half-Life game, Duke Nukem. You've seen it all. You've done it all. How do you feel at this moment in time where we're at with Borderlands 4?
It's pretty good. We're on offense, you guys. Look, sometimes we're white knuckling to the landing, And look, we got a lot of work to do. We're working our asses off, but the momentum is insane. The velocity is insane. I don't think we've ever been in a better spot this far from launch as we are right now with Borderlands 4. And I'm really, really stoked because I kind of need a game like this right now, I kind of need this. So I'm stoked to play it. I just can't wait to get it done so we can all play together. You guys want to play together? Yeah.
So let's go back to the end of Borderlands 3, kind of connect the dots for people. Just spend a few seconds before you get to the new stuff, setting the story, Randy. Lilith teleported Elpis away. Why did she do that? What was the purpose of this?
Yeah, so with the numbered sequels, we're on a continuum with a story, and at the end of Borderlands 3, everything that we knew was at stake. Pandora itself, the planet that everybody lived on, was a vault, and the moon of Elpis was the key. And if the key went into the vault, Lilith and all of her friends would die. So she effectively sacrificed herself to save everyone and bamfed Elpis away. But where did it go? where did it go? And now we know. It went to this other place on the other side of the galaxy, a new place that we call Kairos.
In April, this is a community question that I saw online. Where are the rest of the Crimson Raiders?
So the rest of the Crimson Raiders, they just cannot give up on Lilith. There's always this hope for them. So they have split up trying to find her throughout the galaxy. So we haven't seen the end of them, but we're going to get to visit with some of them in Borderlands 4.
And we know the Timekeeper is our big bad in Borderlands 4.
Boy, howdy.
And he rules Kairos with an iron fist, or a golden fist, but we don't know much about him, his motivations. Can you walk us through who the Timekeeper is?
So the Timekeeper wants everything under control. He doesn't want anything to deviate from his vision of what Kairos needs to be. And to maintain that control, he does what, you're gonna do, which is planet-wide propaganda, outlawing vault hunting, doesn't want anything to do with vault hunters. And, if you're gonna do it, you might as well have a massive unyielding army, which is our Order army, and then, you could get a cybernetic implant, put that in everybody's back, and, just control them into submission. So yeah, he holds Kairos very tightly. And he is clever and he is calculating. But when Elpis comes in and is basically like knocking on the door of the Veil of Kairos.
Very rudely.
Very rudely. We might see the Timekeeper struggling to maintain that control. And you get a couple of Vault Hunters involved.
The dude's had it locked down for like thousands of years.
Thousands.
And suddenly, some punk ass Vault Hunters show up and wreck his shit. He's not cool with that.
So what's happening on the surface now that Elpis is here?
So now that Elpis is here, the people of Kairos didn't really have anything other than abject control in their lives. And so when Elpis comes in, these people see the stars, like the reality of the stars for the first time. And they start to go, what if there's more? And of course, there's always the first. So someone took the risk of ripping the bolt out of their spine and out of their neck and encouraged everyone to seek that same freedom. Now, the risk of that is you might have a little bit of a personality change, or you might just vomit and die. High risk, high reward, as we say in the biz. So we're gonna see a lot of unique personalities and how ripping out these bolts has affected the community. And you're also going to see how the pressure of remaining under this control, where there's hope and where people are trying to find each other to escape this and make Kairos better for them. As good as you can get shit in the Borderlands.
Let's dive into our Vault Hunters. We have 4 new ones in this game. And I'm going to ask this to both April and Nick here. So April, talk about who they are, and Nick, maybe give us some new tidbits on gameplay.
Yeah.
Let's start with Vex the Siren. She's not your typical Siren.
She's not. Vex is a bit newer to her Siren powers, and she didn't always have a lot of the best situations growing up, and she knows that a lot of bad things happen, even if you're a good person. And with this sort of awakening of her Siren powers, she can finally do something about it. And where that sort of manifests for her is a little spooky and a little cool. And if you're gonna, kick some bad guys in the teeth, you might as well do it with a bunch of Reapers and a big kitty cat.
Yeah, like you already said, she's definitely the spookiest Siren we've ever had. She's the first Siren that can physically manifest physical beings into existence, right? Like you saw her phase cat Trouble. She can summon Reapers and Specters, which is her third action skill that we'll talk about in a little bit. And she's also the first Siren who focuses a lot on kinetic damage. She can actually switch between all the elements, but there's a heavy hook there for those of you who enjoy like lifesteal or draining the souls of your enemies. So that's pretty cool.
In April, from the first day I saw our cat in the game, it was named Trouble. There wasn't a placeholder name.
Nope.
I wrote, I was like, that shouldn't change. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where did that name come from?
I don't know, Nick. Where did that name come from?
So Graham, the creative director, kind of always told me that every good witch has a good cat by her side, a good cat familiar. And I have a good cat familiar at home too. His name is Trouble, and I just kind of put it in the game. I'm like, I'm going to name him after my cat. So it just kind of stuck, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Hey, Nick, let me ask you
real
this.
Trouble.
Do you think we could get your other cat's name in a Borderlands game?
My other cat's named Nisha.
Okay, fair.
So, already taken.
All right, let's dive into Rafa. His backstory is really wild.
Rafa, wow. So Rafa grew up in microgravity, and this had a permanent effect on his bones, his muscles, his organs. So he would struggle to live anywhere else, which sort of isolated him, and he has got a lust for life and wants to be out there and doing things. So along comes Tedior and gives him this exosuit. And because Tedior is going to Tedior, he could die at any moment. The suit could kill him. So ironically, the thing that gave him the ability to explore the universe and the world and like have this big life is also this thing that could kill him. But he just rolls with it. He lives every moment to the fullest, and he's playful and energetic and charming, and he's really kinetic as like a vault hunter. And that's really reflected in his dialogue. I mean, he's so charming that even the enemies have things to say about that. And I think that like fluidity of his movement, you can really see that in his skill trees and his action skills.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, if charisma could kill, he used that as a weapon, but unfortunately it doesn't do much. So instead he has energy blades, he's got laser guns, he's got shoulder-mounted cannons that some of our fans at home already spotted in the previous trailer. And yeah, he's easily our most agile Vault Hunter to date, and we're really excited for folks to you know, equip some energy blades and get slicing.
All right, and Harlow is also an interesting character in
Harlow.
science, technology, but has a connection to a well-known Borderlands family.
So, as some of you rowdy, wonderful fans noticed, Harlow is part of the Toronto family. And you can imagine, if you heard that 40 to 50 times a day, you would also pick up a book on theoretical physics. And so Harlow is joyful and brilliant, and she's got 5 PhDs. And she has this force of will and this drive. And why not use all that brains and that creativity to just bend gravity to your will?
Yeah, I mean, scientists love to learn new things, especially when that means imploding or exploding your enemies. New ways to do that, right? We've already seen her, you know, destruct in this giant apparatus that fires like a disco ball of destruction. It's pretty cool. She can lift her enemies and slam them into the ground, and she even has quite a few gadgets that we haven't quite shown you guys yet, but they're pretty sweet.
All right, and Amon, he is apparently a part of a Vault Hunter worshiping clan, or Vault Monster worshiping clan. Tell us about him.
I will tell you that if you are going to worship vault monsters and decide to open a vault, that's not going to go well. And so unfortunately for Amon, he lost his entire family, he lost his spouse, he lost his friends, his community, and he sort of harnesses this deep grief to decide, well, you know what, a vault monster took something from me, so I'm gonna kill every last one of them. And he is a big, beefy daddy, but I will say there's also this really beautiful warrior poet side to him, and he wants to find community and connection, and he's just so single-mindedly focused on literally and figuratively forging his body into a weapon.
Yeah, and I mean, other than forging his body, he also has what we call forge drones that live in his spine and the side of his arm. He is literally able to psychically control them and manifest them into all kinds of weapons. I mean, he's got a sword, he's got an axe, he's got a hammer, he's got a shield, he's got a spear, he's got a whip.
This is a long list.
He's got everything that you might expect from a sci-fi Viking, because that's pretty, you know, it's pretty great.
And Randy, let's focus on the planet Kairos a little bit. What can players expect as they're traversing this world?
Oh yeah. Well, look, it's if you're like a human living on Earth and you want to like go someplace safe, Kairos sucks. Like you're fucking dead. Like everything will kill you out there. If you're a Vault Hunter, it's awesome because nobody gives a shit if you kill dudes and take their loot. It's also unbelievably amazing. There's incredible vistas and the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and a range of different atmospheres. Now, some parts are pretty locked down. You know, the Timekeeper did get a hold of this place, and he's got his tamed center of the planet where he commands and controls everything. But out in the wilds, it's nuts. And also, even in that area, it's not safe unless you are, you know, on the side of the Order. So for a Vault Hunter, it's just everything's possible. And this is the biggest, by far, universe that we've built, and it's seamless. There's no load times. Just you see something anywhere on the screen, a mile away, up in the sky, you will be able to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And Grant, we have dynamic weather systems. Walk us through what players can expect.
Yeah, and Kairos, there will be a myriad of different storms, from rain to thunder to snow and dust. They won't have a direct impact on gameplay, like your damage is going to increase or decrease because you're in rain, but you will have vision obscurity. You will see some things harder and some things are easier to see. So just be prepared and go out and kick some butt.
And Kairos is huge. You know, this is a fun place to explore. We're going to have story missions all over the place, but there's other things that you can do in the world. Grant, walk us through some of those as well.
As players go through Kairos, they will have a myriad of things to kind of encounter, ranging from dynamic world bosses to NPCs that need help. All of these are just like loot chases, so anytime you do any of these, you'll be rewarded with good loot and like a loot chest and stuff. So be sure to stop and help the locals, be sure to kill the badasses that spawn, and try to fight the bosses that try to kill you.
And Randy, in our State of Play showcase, vaults were mentioned. Plural, what does that mean?
Plural is plural. Yes, there are vaults. Yes. you want me to give it all up right now?
No.
Yeah. One shoulder at a time, baby.
I'm a former
Come on.
journalist. I got to do it. And as I just said, Kairos is huge. How are we getting around?
Well, you know, you can do what you used to do, run and walk, but there's a whole lot of new stuff. You could jump, of course, and you could double jump, and you could climb, and you could glide, and you could grapple. And one of the, you know, we've had some big environments in the past, but we've always, when we've wanted to traverse longer distances, you know, you've gone to a vehicle station and gotten in your truck or your car or whatever you're into. We kind of came up with this idea, like, what if I can just use Digistruct technology to bring my personal vehicle to me at any time, anywhere? And it's awesome. Like, I can just get on a bike and cook. And there's so many cool chassis and tons of customizations that you'll collect and loot. And it's freaking fun to just grab that. And if that's not cool enough for you, then you can grapple too and go. And that's fun. It's a lot of ways to get around.
And I've spent a lot of time reading feedback from the State of Play. And one thing people are honing in on is the compass. And there's also, you know, this legacy of a mini map. Why do you think the compass is the way to go here for Borderlands 4?
And you're looking at me like you're going to throw the hard shit at me.
I'm giving you the hard one. Yeah.
All right. Well, look. Here's the deal. You guys haven't played the game yet. You know, obviously, when we did Borderlands 1, we didn't have a mini map, and we added it in Borderlands 2. And we noticed that there's some people online going like, wait, we haven't seen a mini map in what you've shown so far. What's going on there? I'll tell you the deal, and I'll just be straight with you. We made a big frickin' world, and a lot of the things you do can be local space, but a lot of the things you do or want to do are out there. And a local space map is not a good way to navigate when you're thinking about objectives and opportunities, several at the same time that might be miles away. And a compass really helps us do that. The other thing that the team really wanted to commit to, these guys are awesome, and they want to push the boundaries of design and environment. Instead of just a single flat plane, they embraced a lot of verticality. You're going to have more verticality in Borderlands 4 than you've ever seen before in a Borderlands game, by far. And when you have a layered environment, a top-down two-dimensional view is extremely confusing. But with a compass, with arrows that tell you if things are up or down, or you have a much better sense of spatial awareness. And we want you to play the game and not play the map. So we made a commitment, and we put all of that investment into this compass system. And you still have the big map. It's one click away. And we've put more cool stuff in there than we've ever done before. We even have like an AI-driven kind of navigation system that'll give you a GPS on the big map to show you the line of where you can go. And there's even an in-world companion Echo bot that has some features there that'll help you navigate. And there's a lot of tools that help you navigate. And you know, look, we're open to thinking about things in the future, but play the game first and understand the choices we've made. And I think you'll see and understand when you realize how big this world is and how playing the game in the world is better than playing the map.
You just mentioned Echo 4,
Yeah.
our new little companion, adorable little robot. April
Yeah.
and Grant, I'd like to dive deeper into this bot.
Echo 4. So you can see what a charming little dude he is. He's a real chipper, helpful, very, very cute robot. And the animation team at Gearbox is extraordinary. And the work that they put into to make him emote and have this really sweet personality. And I'm going to lean forward and I'm going to look at you and you're going to look at me. I know you don't want to die and fight for your life. I understand that. But I need you to do it just once to see absolutely how sad Echo 4 gets when you die. So if you could just do it once for me, that's all I'm asking. But he not only just does a little robot tear when you cry, he's also actually a very helpful tool in the game, I guess.
Yeah, Echo 4 also controls a lot of your HUD, including giving you options to upgrade your SDUs. They also provide your rewards. So those that didn't want to talk to Lilith for the 30th time, you can now have your rewards delivered straight to you from Echo 4.
And you can customize them too, right?
Yeah, you can have any customizations for Echo 4.
So many, too many. Yeah.
We can't tell you all of them, but there might be some hats involved.
Yeah.
And it's a and it's a companion navigation AI. So if you get lost, just your buddy will help you. Yeah.
Grant and Nick, let's dive into our guns. What can we expect from our manufacturers this time around?
Are there guns in this game?
There's a few.
Wait a minute.
They're just a little bit.
2 hands this time, yeah.
We have 5 returning favorite manufacturers, the Jacobs, Maliwan, Vladoff, Tedior, and Torg. Those are our 5 returning favorites. And then we have 3 brand new ones, the Ripper, Daedalus, and Order.
Yeah, and I mean, and we also have ones that are parts only, right? I mean, we got the Hyperion with the shields, COV so you can make any gun into a heat gun, and then Atlas so you can, shoot that sweet tracking dart and go blasting, right?
Yes, there's nothing more satisfying than a homing Torg assault rifle.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And let's
pretty
be
good.
honest, Hyperion guns are only useful for the shield. So let's
Yeah.
stop. I want my shield.
They
on
make
my,
good parts.
I want
Yeah.
my shield on my Maliwan elemental gun. That's what I want.
April, this is a community question. They're asking where Doll is.
So Kairos has been locked off for like thousands and thousands and thousands of like Earth years, right? So nothing really gets in and out with ease. So they're sort of at the mercy of what ship crashed and what parts might be available. So Borderlands is a big, massive universe, so I promise you we probably haven't seen the last of Doll. But I will say, just enough Doll parts did fall. Echo 4 is Doll. So, hey, we gave you a little sweet Doll Echo buddy, so.
Grant, how do the license parts work? This could also be a community question. I've seen a lot of people asking, like, what agency they have with that system.
Yeah, so licensed parts are our way of describing behaviors from all the manufacturers that we love from Borderlands 3 and the ones that we've added in Borderlands 4. So because there are so many behaviors in the game now, we wanted to make sure that guns drop these behaviors in a kind of tiered fashion. There's no crafting in the game. Players can't modify or craft their guns to have specific licensed parts. They're just drops in the world, and the way they drop is on a tiered system. So from common all the way to legendary, there's different sets of behaviors you can get. Epics having the most behaviors, and legendaries having one less behavior, but having their own unique behavior.
And can every gun have a TDR part that lets you throw it?
Every gun can have a TDR part that could be thrown.
And most guns have something called an underbarrel. This is not something new to the series, but we're leaning into it pretty heavily in this game.
Yeah,